And we back like we never left. I'm Livezone, and as always, I'm gonna pass it off to Mazzi so he can introduce himself.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Mazzi with you for Dynamics on the Hardwood. We got our special guest with us that might be turning into a regular. Paul, welcome back. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me again.
Good,
I'm super
good.
excited to be here for the second night.
Of
Yes, sir.
course. We're happy to have you. Ready to get into some basketball live zone. I'm excited to hear what the headlines have for us this week.
So there wasn't too many headlines in the NBA this week, but one thing that I have been noticing is that Pascal Siakam was traded to the Indiana Pacers for the likes of some players and some draft picks. Mozzie, I want to know how are you feeling about the trade and what do you see for the Toronto Raptors and the Indiana Pacers going forward?
Yeah, crazy trade going down between the Raptors and the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers acquiring Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors getting three players as well as three picks in return for one body off their team. I think it's a great trade for the Toronto Raptors as well as the Indiana Pacers. I think it helps both teams tremendously in where they're trying to go. Whether that is the right way to go to a championship, that needs to be determined. But for Toronto, getting six players, six essential players for one, on a young core with a young leader on that team, getting even more picks for the future to build up and grow. Great for the future growth of this organization because we know they're not in it to win it right currently at this spot, unless by some miracle they go on a tear and upset everybody. Looking at the Indiana Pacers side of things, Pascal Siakam going to add even more depth to the Indiana Pacers, make them even better. Teaming up with Tyrese Halliburton once he comes back from that MCL strain, what he has for an injury. When he comes back and they play together and they get it going, I'm sure it'll be something great. I don't know if it elevates them to championship contention for me. East is still pretty heavily bunched up there. Celtics, Sixers, Bucks, then maybe throw the Pacers in there, but they're still my fourth after those three teams for sure. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a pretty even swap for both of those teams to get. I think they both won. I don't think it was an even swap. 6-for-1's never even, but in this case, I think they both made out really good.
All right, Paul, what about you? What do you think about the Pelicans and the Indiana Pacers and the Toronto Raptors trade?
I'm a fan of this trade. I think the Pacers is the perfect team for Pascal to be on. Um, Pascal is going to be a free agent this summer, and uh, no team would sign Pascal unless they were confident in him re-signing with that team. And the Pacers are one of those teams who were confident. Um, Pairing him up next to Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, that's going to be a new big three in the league, I believe. And you cannot forget about Buddy Hield, Aaron Nesmith, Obi Toppin coming off the bench. That team's scary and young and very hungry. You see what they did in the in-season tournament. So I really believe this is just the start for this team. However, I don't see them shaking anything up in the East this year. I think the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers will stay within that 1 to 3 seed range. And I think the Pacers are going to climb up the ladder from the seventh seed and maybe even get to that fourth seed, maybe if not fifth.
So, with me, I think that there's a clear winner to this trade, and it's the Indiana Pacers. Uh, Look, both teams are very young, and their stars are, very young leaders. But the thing that I'm looking at is that the Indiana Pacers are ready to win now, and they needed somebody that could go to the NBA Finals and have the experience so they can push further into the playoffs and hopefully make the finals. Hopefully winning against the likes of what you said, the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the 76ers. What I don't like is that the Toronto Raptors, yes, they got a lot of pieces out of this. Yes, they got a lot of future draft picks. But they gave the keys to two young stars, and one of those young stars hasn't been a star since he was in high school. He was a co-star next to Zion in college, and he was a third option on the New York Knicks. I just don't know how I feel about RJ Barrett getting the keys to the franchise. I know he's the hometown kid. I know Scotty Barnes is going to be there as well. But from the likes of it, I like Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam together because now the depth is much better than what it was before. And not even just that. I talk about Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's the next Magic Johnson. He's the only star in the NBA right now that can give you a 10 in 10 game and still have a good game with no turnovers. He is the future of the league with Jason Tatum. And I think that this pushes them into that third spot right above the 76ers, and I think the 76ers move down to the fourth seed. In the future, I do say that they win a championship if they keep this team together with how deep that they are, because they just added Pascal Siakam and moved Obi Toppin to the bench. And Obi Toppin was a guy that could give you 16 and 4 every night. So if Pascal Siakam can do 10 times better, and then after that, you have Obi Toppin to give him a few minutes on the bench so he can, get loose, get a drink, whatever. This team is looking real dangerous. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I will say that the two picks that they got are for 2024. And then the other one is for 2026. But the catch is that one of those picks is a lesser of what the Utah, Houston, LA Clippers, and Oklahoma City Thunder are. And looking at all four of those teams, they're all at least middle of the road teams. So it's not like they're the bottom of the Western Conference. I'm looking at this and I'm saying that this is a big win for the Indiana Pacers and, a big loss for the New Orleans Pelicans because they didn't even get anything out of this. So that's what I see for this trade right now.
And with that being said about the Pacers, we're going to look at the Eastern Conference and who we have winning it this year. Too early to tell before the All-Star break. Way too early to make a prediction, but we're here to do it anyways. Paul, I want to hop over to you. I want to find out who you have winning the Eastern Conference this year in the NBA.
The Boston Celtics. I feel like over the past couple of years, they've been trying to get over that hump. And I really believe that this year's team is the team to do it. With Drew Holiday being a better two-way player than Marcus Smart, and with Kristaps Porzingis bringing in that height defensively and offensively, I really think it's going to change it for the Celtics moving forward. They're 20-0 at home already. I know it's too early before the All-Star break, but you know, they're really showing it this year, and I really think this is the year for them. So I have the Boston Celtics making it outside of the Eastern Conference Finals.
A great pick there. I am in the same boat on that one. I believe Livezone. I'm going to hop over to you. Who do you have winning the Eastern Conference this year?
I know it's too early to tell, but I think it's their year. I'm going with the Boston Celtics. I agree with Paul 110%. They've been, showing us that they've been growing and improving every year, made some very important moves, even though I hate saying that Marcus Smart leaving was a good move. It really was for the team that we have right now because honestly, I don't think he would fit the role that Drew Holiday is fitting. Kristaps Porzingis is my only worry because every year Kristaps gets hurt at the wrong time. But other than that, I think that the Celtics go on and win the Eastern Conference Finals.
And no argument from me over here, like I said about Paul. Livezone agreeing with you there. Celtics on a tear. It's a shame when we have to get rid of somebody that we truly call our own, being Boston sports fans ourselves. Marcus Smart really embraced what Boston was about, and we really loved the role that he played. But Drew Holiday, like we've been saying, is the better two-way player, and I think makes the Celtics even better than they were. Kristaps Porzingis, just another threat that we have. I know he gets injured sometimes. I'm more worried about Jaylen Brown and his left hand than anything else on this Celtics team. So that's what I'm worried about come crunch time. I'm not worried about injury or somebody not showing up. I'm worried about Jaylen Brown's left hand.
Yeah, I agree with you
But
on that too.
other than
But
that, I got the Celtics in the East, winning the Eastern Conference at least. So we're going to hop over to the Western Conference where it's a little tighter, a little more jumbled up. Livezone, I'm going to start with you. A little
uh,
cautious. Who do you have winning the Western Conference way too early in the season?
it's hot take time. If you know me, I've always been an OKC Thunder fan when they had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. I'm taking Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm taking the OKC Thunder as winning the Western Conference Finals. They just look insanely good for such a young team that they have. And I think if Shea can keep up, the 30 points a game and everything like that, he's not just going to be in the MVP talk. He's going to win the Western Conference Finals and bring his team to the finals. Do I think it's his year? I don't think so, but you never know. But I do see the Thunder winning the Western Conference.
Interesting pick there. Sitting at the 2 seed right now, it's very possible they could end up in the 1 seed and have home court throughout the playoffs. So, possibility there. Paul, same question. Wondering if it's a same answer or a different answer. Who do you have winning the Western Conference this year?
I do have to agree with CJ, but not all the way. I do believe that the Thunder could most definitely be that team to advance to the Western Conference Finals, but I believe it'll be a matchup, or sorry, not a matchup. If it's not the Thunder, I believe the Clippers will be there to advance to the finals. Earlier this season, when James Harden first went there, they went on a losing streak. I didn't have hope for them, but they've been climbing up those standings, and they're looking really good right now. So if the Clippers stay healthy and stay in control of what they're doing, I believe they'll go far.
Interesting takes there. Two different teams. I think it's wide open in the Western Conference myself. I think anybody 1 through 8 come playoff time, probably even people in the in-season tournament could beat anybody on any given series that's going on in the Western Conference. I don't think there's a clear-cut winner. I'm throwing my money on the Mavericks here early in the season, maybe make a run come postseason. We'll see what happens.
Talk about a hot take. I like it. Taking a page out of my book.
Exactly. You never know. The West is just too wide open. There's too much going on every week. There's too much shifting. People getting injured, people going different places, teams playing to their full potential, teams not playing up to their potential that we know they can. It's all over the place for me. And come down to it, could be anybody's game.
Hey, another team that we haven't mentioned as well is the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can't count them out with the way that Anthony Edwards is playing right now. So I see
Absolutely.
what you're saying with 1 through 8. I don't know if I agree with 1 through 8, but 1 through 4, I can definitely see it because you got the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Nuggets, and the Clippers. I mean, looking at those 4 teams, it could go either way with all 4 of those. So.